To complete the most significant news for this day, Y News continues. Here are the top stories. Agriculture Secretary Manny Piñol appeals to the public to patronize local pork and pork-based products amid the dangers of African swine fever that is currently affecting large pig farms, not only in China but in other countries across the globe. Since August of 2018, the Department of Agriculture has been imposing a ban on the entry of pork and pork-based products from 13 countries, including China, Latvia, Romania, Hungary, Russia, Poland, Ukraine, Belgium, South Africa, Czech Republic, Moldova, Zambia, and Bulgaria. The Bureau of Quarantine has also established foot bath facilities that will disinfect port passengers from any virus as part of the measures to prevent the entry of African swine fever in the country. Earlier, Agriculture Secretary Manny Piñol relieved the entire quarantine team at Ninoy Aquino International Airport for not instituting his order to install foot baths due to procurement issues.
Bali po, nakapasok. Anong impact po sisirain natin ng buong industriya? Simply because sabihin mo sa akin na wala pa po kasi kaming procurement. Napakadali naman nun eh. Napakadali naman gawin yun. Kumuha ka na ng basang sako dyan. Ilagay mo dyan sa pwede na eh.
Meanwhile, the Meat Importers and Traders Association is confident of having alternative countries to import pork from amid the ongoing outbreak of African swine fever. However, they cannot assure that the prices will remain stable as they see a possible increase in the price of pork products in the world market. Philippine Statistics Authority reports that the inflation rate in December 2018 dropped to 5.1% from 6.0% in November 2018 due to the decline in prices of food, drinks, and transportation. Nevertheless, it is still higher compared with the 2.9% inflation rate of December 2017. Metro Manila recorded a 4.8% inflation rate last December from a 5.6% rate reported in November. Areas outside Metro Manila also registered a slow increase in prices of goods and services, having recorded a 5.3% inflation rate in December. Based on PSA's report, the Cordillera Administrative Region registered the slowest inflation rate, while the autonomous region in Muslim Mindanao has the highest annual rate at 7.5%. The Metropolitan Manila Development Authority will begin imposing higher penalties on illegal parking and road obstruction offenses on Monday, January 7. Under the MMDA Regulation Number 18008, the penalty on attended illegally parked vehicles will be raised to 1,000 pesos from the previous 200 pesos, while the 500 peso fine on unattended illegally parked vehicle will increase to 2,000 pesos. The penalty for obstruction and traffic violation of the yellow lane policy will now become 1,000 pesos. The MMDA first planned to impose higher penalties on illegal parking last December 2018, but was postponed to give motorists enough time to adjust on the new policy.
Pag strictly in-enforce mo, madadala ang tao. Madami tayong kababayan niya, ilang beses ko na sinabi, pag tapat ng bahay nila, yung kalsada at bangketa, akala nila sila may-ari. Pag hinuhuli yan, laging katwiran, 10 taon na kami nakaparada dyan, o 15 years na kami nakaparada dyan. No? So napakinabangan na nila ng matagal yan, siguro it's about time gobyerno na.
One of the gunmen in the slay of Ako Bicol Party List Representative Rodel Batucabe and his police escort has surrendered to authorities on Friday. The Philippine National Police says former soldier Henry Yuson, alias Romel, voluntarily yielded himself to the Philippine Army headquarters in Sorsogon. Aside from Yuson, another suspect named Jamin Babor, who served as one of the backup drivers of the gunmen's getaway vehicles after the assassination, also surrendered. Babor is the second backup driver to be placed under police custody after Emmanuel Rosilio, alias Boboy, was arrested on Thursday. So far, 3 suspects are yet to surrender, namely Rolando Arimado, who was among the gunmen, Danilo Muelia, who was considered an accessory to the crime, and Dalaga Mayor Carlwin Baldo, who was tagged as the mastermind.
He is now sa CIDG custody at pinoproseso na po at kinukunan ng salaysay. And of course, Henry Uson has a standing warrant for rape with no bail recommended. And once na matapos po yung proseso sa amin, he will be turned over to the court of origin.
Election lawyer and former lawmaker Nery Colmenares denies he is a member of the Communist Party of the Philippines New People's Army. In an interview in the program Get It Straight with Daniel Razon, Colmenares strongly refuted allegations that he belongs to a group that serves as a front of the communist movement.
And,
But honestly, hindi ka ba NPA?
Of course not.
Pero naka-front ka ba talaga o...
Wala front, back, or sideways. Wala.
Colmenares is aspiring to get a seat in the Senate for the second time in the coming midterm elections. And though he admittedly lacks financial sources to launch a nationwide campaign, Colmenares believes that his principle, dignity, and accomplishments will be his edge among the senatorial aspirants. Colmenares also expresses fears that election fraud might spread in the coming polls due to the acquittal of former President and now House Speaker Gloria Arroyo.
Ang sama ng message kasi. Ang message, ang problema sa Pilipinas is impunity. Tingin ko, as a human rights lawyer, noon pa yan. Meaning, people commit crimes and get away with it. Eh, yung message sa kay now Speaker Gloria Arroyo, pwede ka palang mag-electoral fraud and after, akala namin sa Kongreso kami noon, ang lakas ng ebidensya. 2007 election, Kuya Daniel, I was in Maguindanao. I was one of the lawyers na nagpunta doon. Delikado pala yung Maguindanao. At that time, wala pang Maguindanao massacre. At nakakita ako doon, presinto, 2,000 boto. Saan ka nakakita ng presinto na 2,000 ang boto? In favor of the administration. So, 200 lang naman ang botante sa isang presinto. Manual pa kasi noon eh. So, we thought it was very strong.
The camp of former Senator Ramon Bong Revilla insists he won't return the 124 million peso civil liabilities to the government despite the order of the Sandigan Bayan. According to Revilla's legal counsel, attorney Rio Di Anthony Balisi, the dispositive portion of the Sandigan Bayan's decision was clear that only those found guilty were required to return the amount. In Revilla's case, it should be Janet Napoles and Revilla's former staff, Richard Cambe. Last December 2018, the anti-graft court acquitted Revilla of plunder over his involvement in the multi-billion peso pork barrel scam. The court also ordered the former lawmaker to return the said amount to the National Treasury. The former senator has maintained he did not steal anything from the people's money and that everything he has was earned from years of being an actor before he entered politics.
All those who are criminally liable are civilly liable. So with these qualifications in the dispositive portion of the decision of the Sandigan Bayan, you apply Article 100 based on the discussion above. Is Senator Bong criminally liable? He is not.
And for the news abroad, a U.S. delegation will visit China next week for talks aimed at diffusing the trade war between the world's two largest economies. The closely watched meeting follows a dismal week for U.S. markets, with losses fueled partly by trade fears. Last year, China and the U.S. imposed tariffs on more than $300 billion worth of each other's goods. It will be the first face-to-face meeting since the two countries agreed not to impose new tariffs for 90 days. The Democrat-controlled U.S. House of Representatives has voted to end the partial government shutdown, but the move looks certain to be vetoed by President Trump. Trump has said he will reject any measure that does not provide funding for his proposed U.S.-Mexico border wall. New House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said no funding for the wall would be made available. The Republican-run Senate said it might not even vote on the legislation. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell said Republicans would not back measures that Mr. Trump did not support and called the Democrats' move a total non-starter and a political sideshow. Texas police has yet to make major headway into an investigation into the drive-by death of a 7-year-old in Greater Houston over the weekend. Eileen Cerudo tells us why.
Search operations is underway for the assailant of the 7-year-old Texan girl who died after she was shot in Greater Houston on Sunday. Harris County Sheriff Ed Gonzalez said at a news conference that they have yet to confirm a motive and are not ruling out race.
We're not tone deaf to the concerns in many communities of color that feel that maybe they could be targeted. I mean, it's a reality that it does happen, it could happen.
The young black girl Jasmine Barnes was shot dead for no apparent reason while riding in her mother's car outside a Harris County Walmart. She was with her mother LaPortia Washington and 3 sisters in the car when the shooting happened. Washington said she threw herself on top of her daughter Jasmine, who was sitting in the passenger seat when a drive-by shooting occurred. Jasmine was shot in the head while the mother was struck in the arm. Her 3 other daughters sitting in the back seat all survived.
She did not deserve this at all. We was going to get coffee, and my baby lost her life.
The women told police the gunman was a bearded white man in his 40s, was wearing a red hooded sweatshirt and driving a red pickup truck. Washington has left the hospital and is planning her daughter's funeral for next week. Eileen Cerudo, UNTV News and Rescue.
Norwegian police say it might take several days for rescue services to properly search for 4 missing skiers who were reported missing following an avalanche in Arctic Norway. Meanwhile, the lost containers of a cargo ship that met rough seas bring windfall to Dutch islanders. Victor Cosare tells us why.
In Norway, poor weather conditions and heavy snowfall were hampering the search for 4 skiers that disappeared following an avalanche in Arctic Norway, police said on Thursday. The avalanche took place on Wednesday in the northern Norwegian region of Troms, and 3 Finns and a Swede who were skiing in the area were reported missing. Police spokesman Andreas Nilsson said it might take several days for rescue services to be able to properly search the area, and that preparations were being made to receive relatives of the missing skiers who are making their way to Troms. In the Netherlands, dozens of containers with items including flat-screen televisions washed up on Dutch islands in the North Sea on Wednesday after a ship lost part of its cargo in heavy seas, bringing a windfall for local treasure hunters. The Dutch Coast Guard said up to 270 containers had fallen off the Panamanian flag MSC Zoe, one of the world's biggest container ships, in rough weather near the German island of Borkum and floated southwest toward Dutch waters. The Coast Guard warned ships in the area to beware of floating containers. Dutch media reported that local treasure hunters had found an array of items from containers whose contents had spilled, including light bulbs, car parts, IKEA furniture, clothing, and toys. And in Poland, 3 snowed-in meteorologists managed to make their way to safety on Thursday, determined to report the weather during a winter storm. Marcin Gabri's, Luka Shimura, and Witold Kashkin were stuck inside a Kaszprowy Wirch meteorological station in Poland's western Tatras after snow blocked the entrance but managed to dig their way to the surface. Despite the weather and a 4th-degree avalanche alert in Tatra Mountain, the meteorologists carried out their duties, which involved leaving the building once every 6 hours to take measurements like assessing the visibility or the type of clouds flowing around peaks. Victor Cosare, UNTV News and Rescue.
Japanese world number 9 Kei Nishikori edges 6 seed Grigor Dimitrov in a thrilling match at the Brisbane International. Meanwhile, Juventus striker Cristiano Ronaldo bags the Player of 2018 trophy at the Globes Football Awards held in Dubai. Asher Kadapan Jr. tells us why.
Kei Nishikori got the better of Grigor Dimitrov in a closely fought quarterfinal at the Brisbane International on Thursday. The Japanese world number 9 took the first set 7-5, but was trailing 4-1 in the second set before launching an impressive comeback to win it 7-5. 6-seed Dimitrov has lost 5 of his last 6 meetings with Nishikori, who will now prepare for a semi-final against Francis Jeremy Chardy. Manchester City reignited the Premier League title race as they ended Liverpool's 20-game unbeaten start to the season to reduce their lead at the top of the table to 4 points. Pep Guardiola's host knew nothing less than a win, and Etihad Stadium would do on a night riddled with tension that produced a game that was frenetic if not a classic. Leroy Sane produced a decisive moment 18 minutes from the time as he collected Raheem Sterling's pass to fire across Liverpool goalkeeper Alisson, after it seemed like Roberto Firmino's stooping header would maintain the visitors' unbeaten sequence. Both sided chances in a frantic finale, but it was City who claimed a crucial win. Juventus striker Cristiano Ronaldo won the Player of 2018 trophy at the Globe Soccer Awards in Dubai on Thursday. Ronaldo also won the Goal of the Year for his acrobatic overhead strike for Real Madrid against present club Juventus in the Champions League. Coach of the Year went to Didier Deschamps, who steered France to victory in the World Cup final in the summer in Russia. Club of the Year was won by Spain's Atletico Madrid, whose owner Miguel Angel Gilmarin picked up the trophy. Career coach went to Italian Fabio Capello, who managed AC Milan, Real Madrid, Roma, and Juventus at club level and led the England and Russia national sides. Asher Gadapan Jr., UNTV News and Rescue.
Composer wish coverer Veni Saturno is happy to see the turnout of his coaching in last night's one-on-one showdown of Wishcovery Season 2, the singer and the song. Leslie Long Bowen tells us why.
Wishcoveries from Caraga region gave their best to earn the nod of composer wishcoverer Veni Saturno in last night's one-on-one showdown. Ana Ginsisana and Christopher Thio faced each other first for the vocal battle. Angelo and Kei Vallejos competed next with their performance of Panalangin. Veni was satisfied with the performances but had to choose Ana and Angela to advance to the next round.
Ginawa ko naman yung 100% na sa performance ko. Ginawa ko po talaga yung lahat makapunta lang dito. Kahit may ginagawa ko talaga to para sa mama ko kasi gusto ko siyang tulungan. Gusto kong maihaon yung pamilya ko sa pamamagitan ng talent na binigay ng Panginoon sa akin.
Nag-enjoy ako sa ginawa ninyo. Kahit very short time nating rehearse, diba, nakapag-deliver kayo. Gagaling ninyo.
Only 3 camps are left to choose the first half of their Wishcoveries who are moving to the next round. Catch the battles of Camps Boy Christopher, Noel Cabangon, and Moy Ortiz on Wish Live YouTube channel. Leslie Loboen, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
And those are the reasons behind the news, January 4, 2019. On behalf of Rheena Villamor-Camara, I'm Angelo Castro III. Because we need to know, we will always ask why. Good evening.
public service channel.